While superhuman strength, the ability to become invisible or turn into a green monster may seem like cool superhero traits, everybody from the Marvel headquarters to AMC knows that the ability to fly just gets the box office numbers going. Flying superheroes make for great posters, awesome slow-mo moments, and even makes Captain America look kind of basic while he's trying to ride a bike into a Russian facility while Iron Man just speeds past him at 100 meters above sea level. But to truly appreciate this ability, we're going to look at some of the most memorable first superhero flight scenes, praising the beginning of some wonderful story arcs and mid-air collisions.
He's a cyborg.
After the horrible train wreck that was the Justice League, Zack Snyder's cut gave Cyborg fans something that Joss Whedon failed to: a storyline. After seeing what Cyborg had been through following the death of his mother, we felt a genuine connection with the character, making his flight scene in the movie that much more memorable. One of the benefits of being a cybernetic organism is that Cyborg had the ability to fly, and Zack Snyder decided to go all in with it. With the dark and gloomy landscape that the director loves to use, Victor hastily began to gain momentum thanks to the thrusters and velocities in his suit. In the backdrop of the breathtaking CGI, Cyborg ended the scene by delivering a sonic boom that saw him fly away in the clouds and finally smile for what seems like the first time in his life since that dreadful car crash.
Hey, Cap! Found those bad guys you were talking about. You okay?
Making his first appearance in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Sam Wilson was introduced as the random dude that Cap violated while out on a run. Sam clearly didn't take this loss all that well, preparing for himself a dope-ass suit that had wings attached to them, making sure he's always a step ahead of Rogers. In his first appearance of what Peter Parker would call their made-up names, Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon, stunned viewers after we were led to believe that Natasha just roundhouse-kicked Sitwell off of a building, only to be caught by the Falcon. As the dramatic music played in the background, Sam's wings took center stage, and this worked as a good power move to bring Sitwell to talking. While he may not have been center stage throughout the movie, it further diversified Marvel's flying portfolio. They finally found a superhero who flies and looks the part, and as it turns out, he made a big enough impact on Steve to make him the next Captain America way down the line, giving us a much needed costume update as well. You think superheroes wearing their cool capes and onesie costumes are the dopest looking beings while flying midair? Think again. Never has a person wearing a three-piece suit and darkened sunglasses ever been thought of as a great poster boy for possessing superhuman abilities like flying and demonstrating other abilities. But then again, Matrix is just that type of movie. Neo, who's been brilliantly played by Keanu Reeves, has his life completely changed after coming in contact with a group of people led by the iconic character Morpheus. Neo learns more about the dystopian future that lies ahead and also learns about the different traits he possessed. This includes his ability to fly like a Japanese bullet train, basically liquidating cars as he flies past them. There's also just a certain thing about a man flying in the air while wearing a waistcoat. Looks comical for a second, and then you're like, nah, that could be Batman if you wanted to. At number 7, we have the scene featuring Johnny Storm showing glimpses of the Human Torch while skiing in the Alps. It's still hard imagining Chris Evans as any superhero other than Captain America, but before he got to that mantle, he played the typical bad boy womanizer as Johnny Storm in the Fantastic Four. And Storm may have discovered his newfound powers in the coolest way possible, out skiing with a woman you're trying to impress, and you start getting on fire out of nowhere and turn into a human thunderbolt that just makes a hole in the ice out of thin air. The scene of him officially becoming the Human Torch may have just been a teaser for what was to come later, but it made for great entertainment. As far as Chris Evans' acting career goes, he's gone from the rom-com dude to the fiery superhero to eventually becoming America's ass. It's a win-win if you ask me.
strong in spirit, pure in heart.
Shazam was a much-needed, light-hearted comedy action movie in the DCEU, especially after the MCU's B-grade movies were making more than Warner Brothers' blockbuster hits. In came Shazam, the 14-year-old turned superhero who learned that he could fly after a middle-aged man with only one eye tried to drop him from 1,000 feet up. And just like you'd expect any kid that age to react, Shazam was too busy celebrating his ability to fly rather than concentrating on the boss battle he had going on with the dude who looked like a Caucasian Nick Fury. Unlike normal flight scenes where the heroes can try out different poses mid-air, Shazam was thrown headfirst into a mall and succumbed to throwing Batman action figures at his nemesis, which at best just made for good breaking the fourth wall product placement. But to sum it up, this was one of the most memorable scenes from the movie since we saw our main protagonist simultaneously discover his superpowers while getting battered around like a side character in his own movie.
Single bound.
You cost us all our jobs, you son of a bitch!
Although the Green Lantern's synonymous in superhero pop culture as meme-worthy at best, it did have a few cool scenes. After Hal Jordan used the power of the Green Lantern ring in a fight with a couple of pilots, the power of the ring sends him flying outside the Earth's atmosphere while he's surrounded by this green beam of energy on his way up. We then get a cool montage of Ryan Reynolds' shredded figure while he's placed in a gravity-less lab, and then we cut to him being covered in his superhero costume. Despite the hate that the entire movie and the costume got, the outfit did seem pretty decent for the most part, although the face mask did look like he was going to be attending a low-budget opera night. All in all, the CGI did make this scene particularly stand out. If only we could get a crossover between Green Lantern, Deadpool and Juggernaut. Come on, make it happen, MCU and DC.
Ah, green!
Strands have a tensile strength proportionately equal to the type of high-tension wire used in bridge building.
Number 4 on the list features that superhero that made us all want to get bitten by radioactive spiders when we were little, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. After getting bitten by a spider at Oscorp, Peter Parker started showing some strange and unique tendencies after he could hold his own in a fight against a school bully. After sneaking to a side alley in a shady part of the town, he made eye contact with another spider roaming around freely before climbing up a wall, cause game respects game. Since the movie came at a time where CGI wasn't really in use that much and superhero movies were considered childish, the simple montage of Peter jumping across the building and climbing walls felt like such a cathartic experience. And nothing can top the scene where Peter tried to release his spiderwebs by saying stuff like Shazam! I wonder what the guys at WB Studios thought about that one.
Shazam! Go! Go! Go, Web!
From building a life-size weapon while being held hostage in a cave, to eventually using nanotech and building a suit that can fly in space, Tony Stark's suit has been through it all. But one of the most memorable scenes came from the first Iron Man, where Tony went for a spin around the city for the first time. The colour of the suit wasn't really finalised, the systems hadn't really been checked, and Jarvis was being a real pain in the ass, but no one can tell Tony what to do, of course. He flew in full acceleration around his city and decided to head to space after traumatizing a couple of kids sitting atop a Ferris wheel. It was all fun and games until he went flying close to the moon and then went crashing down because he couldn't handle a little frostbite. This scene had everything you'd want to see in a cool superhero flying montage except the superhero landing. In fact, it may have been the world's most expensive landing you may have ever seen, damaging a perfectly good house, sports car and piano all in a matter of seconds. But I guess that's what billionaires get for avoiding taxes. After nearly 70 years of existing, Diana finally unlocked the one weapon missing from her arsenal, the ability to fly. As is a theme with Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman, Diana again heard Steve talking to her in the background while she was doing something really important. For her sake, let's just hope that it isn't tinnitus. While Diana began losing balance mid-air after the plane she was hanging onto flew away, the stage was set for a power upgrade. After remembering Steve's narration on how to fly a plane from a previous scene, she took things one step further and proved just how much of a badass she is. She balanced herself, tried a couple of different swimming positions mid-air, and even made a Superman-esque pose to cement her new superpower. So far, Steve's death has led her to defeat the God of War by using a thunderbolt and then develop the power of flight. If this is the case, he should be brought back and killed off again in the third movie, and then maybe she'd be able to restore the Snyderverse by then. It's no surprise that Superman's first flight scene is the top of this list. Nearly 8 years ago, we saw Henry Cavill's Superman adorn the outfit of Superman for the first time as he stepped out of the Kryptonian ship. He reminded us of a Bollywood hero with his slow-mo walk across the icy terrain whilst the majestic red cape flew behind him. While Batman was busy naming cool gadgets after his superhero name, Supes entered Earth and instantly took all of us 90s kids on a trip down memory lane once he took off to the skies. His first few nervous flights demonstrated a sense of naivety in the character, but eventually he was confident enough to take that leap of faith as he went all supersonic in the air. And as we all know, any superhero flight scene is just a distraction to make for some god-tier trailer content. And oh boy, Zack Snyder didn't disappoint. On one hand, you had Tony Stark from the MCU, who spent about 10 years and a dozen suit upgrades to finally fly in space. And on the other hand, you had Supes, who told him to hold his nanotech and made a full revolution around the Earth after learning to fly about 25 seconds ago. So now we know who's the boss. With this, we've reached the end of our list. Please don't forget to comment down below with your favourite superhero first flight scenes and let us know if we've missed any of your favourite flight scenes. Also, leave a like on the video and subscribe to our channel if you're looking for the most awesome pop culture content. We'll see you next time on the TV Regent.